Hey guys, it's West here, and we're back with another Dungeon Hunter Champions video. It has been a little while since I've done one of these. I'm sorry for those of you who are looking forward to it. However, I'd like to make progress in between videos, so I don't want to give you guys a bunch of redundant content or show you guys something that isn't new in terms of my progression. So, if I could stop clicking off the screen here. What I've been doing since the last episode is farming a crap ton of Elder Drake B7 or floor 7. In the meantime, of course, I have also been leveling up this beautiful lady here. You may have noticed this by the thumbnail and title of the video. We'll be talking about the light Boon sister today and what she's kind of done for my progression and my general thoughts on her. This by no means is a professional guide or advice that should be heavily considered for your progression in Dungeon Hunter Champions. Merely my interpretation of this unit and her role in the gameplay. So I am by no means an expert at this game. However, I know there are some people who have played and may be experts and definitely have more skill in the game than I do, and I openly admit that because I'm always eager to learn more about the games that I'm playing so that I can improve myself as a player and improve my content for all of you out there. So Xenia, the Light Boon sister, it goes without saying she is an amazing unit, recommended by the creators of the game when starting off just as a primary healer. She's got a defense break on the auto attack skill. Some people call this the first skill, the auto attack, the basic attack of this champion. The Q ability removes buffs, and the W has the W is the heal, and the E is okay, and the E is her stun. Okay, so she brings in stuns, which is nice for clearing the trash waves or the waves of monsters leading up to bosses. And I'm talking about using her in places like Elder Drake because that's primarily where I use her. I haven't tried her in PvP yet, but I don't really worry about arena too much. The second skill, or the W skill, does healing based on her max HP, so the more HP you give her, the higher her healing will be, which is something you're going to notice in her build. When I talk about the way I plan on building her, and I would recommend you build her if you plan on building this unit. We've got the removes 3 buffs from each enemy it hits with this ability. That's really nice. It does damage based on attack. That's not really relevant because, of course, you're likely not going to build her as a damage dealer, as she is a really nice support, and if you worry too much about damage, then you'll be taking away from her ability as a healer. And then she has the defense break on her first, her auto attack, so every 4th attack has a chance to lower defense. It doesn't say what the chance is, but either way, I recommend you give her accuracy just so that she could land that effect, because even though it's really only one effect that's relevant for attacking the boss, lowering defense will greatly increase your damage output onto the boss, so it's always relevant to be able to land that as often as possible, so giving her a lot of accuracy helps out. And you'll see that in her build. Her HP is a lot lower than I'd like it to be, but I do give her a lot of accuracy with this accuracy in the bracer slot, just because I do want her to land that defense break as often as possible. Lowering defense is really important, like I've said, so that I can increase the damage for my team. The other 2 slots are the shoulder slot and the glove slot are HP percentage. You'll see here. These are very mediocre. Honestly, on her build, I just worry about getting as much HP, as much defense, and as much accuracy as I can so that she has the most survivability. However, I've gotten a little bit of attack, which, like I said, attack isn't really super relevant, but if you do by chance get some extra attack substats in addition to the things you're already looking for, like high HP, high defense, high accuracy, it's kind of a bonus because it helps your clear times a little bit. It wasn't at all on purpose, but that's how it worked out. You could see here there's a lot of skill ups needed or that you want to get on her in order to maximize her kit. The main skill ups are going to be on the first skill and the or her auto attack skill, her basic attack, and the W skill, her heal. Of course, you want the most healing possible and the heal to be being used as often as possible, as well as a defense break for the longest duration, and that's about it. Getting the other stuff is a nice bonus, but those are like the core skills that you want to be maxed so you can have the highest uptime. So I did just today 6-star her. unit I 6-star just because I think I'm going to be using a lot of her. Like I said, I have been doing research. I have a website here for you guys. If you guys are curious about any units in the game, don't take this as law at all. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to show some of the resources that I use. The website that I use for most of my general assessments of champions in this game is dhctiers.com. It gives a really general tier description of each unit in the game. Now, like I said, some of these are arguable, and everyone's abilities to comprehend that and everyone's own perception may differ from what it says on there. But I'm just showing you guys what I use. That's where I saw that she was S tier, so I decided to build her. And because it seems like she's going to be the best healer I'm going to have for a while, I did decide to 6-star her. I'm going to go ahead and farm in the background while I talk about the rest of my progression, because although I do want to really point out the perks of the light Boon sister, I also want to have something going and talk about the rest of my progression. You can see the numbers here, whatever. You'll see that the water scanned warlord will never die, just because in addition to his own self-sustain and high HP, the light Boon sister's healing is great. These other guys are gonna die though, just because they're just food monsters. I am working on 6-starring some other units. I'm thinking of 6-starring Rhoda, the Nature Valkyrie? Nature Valkyrie. Just because she seems a little bit squishy in terms of her base stats, not in terms of her kit in general. She seems like she could have more survivability at 6-star, so I'll probably do that. I only say that because her HP is a little bit lower than the rest of my units. Now, something I do want to share that I'm extremely excited about is I've cleared everything up into Elder Drake B10. I cleared, everything up to B9. So right now the challenge is completing B10 for the first time. I only attempted it once and it was on auto. The big problems I see, and don't get me wrong, this isn't a big issue. The issue right now is the gear that I have on my units. My units need a lot more HP, more accuracy, all that kind of stuff. Now the big thing that made that run fail was the AI, and I don't want to blame the AI as a way to cover up any shortcomings that I have as in terms of gearing up my units. But as a few of my units just kind of stood in the front line and didn't even attempt to evade the Elder Drake's attacks, and basically soaked up a bunch of unnecessary damage. And I think I could have cleared that run had they not. The water scanned warlord here is a great example of a unit that did so. He kind of just stood up in the front and took all the Drake's hits with a defense break on him. So I don't know, not the smartest AI in that scenario, but like I said, I only attempted it once, so that shouldn't reflect my ability to do it or my results from a larger sample group. But what I am excited about is that the rest of my units seem to do fairly well. Now I got the Elder Drake to about half health when he died. It was before the Elder Drake flies away for the first time when my team wiped, and it was as a result of the Boon sister dying. Of course, she's 6-star level 3 when I attempted that team, so perhaps that will change in the future. It's going to increase my healing when she's higher level. But it means that I am close to Elder Drake B10. Maybe not super consistent, however, being able to farm it with any amount of consistency, regardless of how high or low, sounds really exciting to me. I'm assuming there are significant changes or significant difference in drop rates between the floor 7 stage and the floor 10 stage, so hopefully I will get better gear from there. But I'm getting really excited. Also, something I want to talk about is recently DHC, this is the month of June, by the way, for anyone curious or watching this in the future, June 20th at the time of this recording. There was recently an update, and that update made a lot of quality of life improvements to the game. And what I mean by that is they've made additions to the game or changes to the game that have made the game more convenient. Certain areas of the game are more accessible and just more pleasant to play. Not to say that it wasn't pleasant to play before, but they've added some things like, as you may have seen just a few moments ago, I did have to refill my energy using gems, and I did not have to leave the area I was at in order to do so, which I think is so great because it saves you that extra time, the unnecessary steps, the unnecessary clicking. Not to sound lazy, because that's not what it's about at all. It's about the ease of access to spend more gems and refresh my energy, because doing that 5, 6, 10, 20 times a day, it just adds up to being something annoying and unpleasant in a game, and them adding that addition was really, it's really convenient, and it makes the game flow a little bit better when you're grinding through stages. You don't have to worry nearly as much about, doing all these extra steps. Also, I do want to hop out of this for a moment here and talk about some of the stuff in monster sorting, or champion sorting here. They've added this grid mode where you can see all of the icons of your champions in a 4 wide by however long grid here. It's great. All your champions are organized by, of course, the star rating, and then within the star rating by attribute, and within the attribute the different monster types are grouped together. And you can see that here these monsters, or these champions, are grouped together, these champions, and you can see that the champions of the same type, or the same attribute, star and level are all grouped together. So I think that is great. It's extremely convenient, and it's really pleasant on the eyes to see large groups of the same attribute grouped together, and it makes it a lot easier to find the champions you're looking for. So I love that addition to the game. Now, I'm sure there's many other additions to the game. These are the big ones that popped out to me that just make me want to play the game even more. And as such, I have been playing the game more than I did previously. Some other units I want to talk about. First, I want to talk about Rhoda, why I was thinking of 6-starring her. You can see that I don't know what it is about her survivability, but it seems like she dies on my teams. Now, her defense is actually higher than Mojo's and higher than Xenia's currently. But I guess I'll just go ahead and play the team, and we can go ahead and watch and see what's going on there. Like I said, this team is not ready for Elder Drake B10. Xenia's level 9, so her survivability as well as her ability to heal is a lot lower than it should be, and a lot lower than it can be. So I am going to work on getting her at least up to level 30, maybe 40 in the next day or so, just so I can maximize her efficiency. As she is 6-star now, I should be giving her some level priority. I may get a double XP booster in the future, but I haven't looked at future events or announcements that may lead to us getting extra XP boosters or extra double XP in order to maximize the efficiency. Because of course I don't want to pay gems for a double XP booster if there's going to be a double XP in an event or something like that in the future. Not to mention, it's not terrible for me to just go ahead and grind in the story mode or the campaign stages for a while. So we're just looking at it from the water scanned warlord's perspective right now. He just kind of goes at it, charges at people, applies dots. One other great reason why I like him in this team, his HP for water champions is really, really nice, because it gives this dude a lot more survivability, because otherwise I think he'd have a higher chance of dying. Just because this is a water stage, so they're neutral against the boss, and as is Xenia, but Xenia I'm a little less worried about. But these water guys are neutral, whereas these nature dudes, all my nature dudes, are going to be elementally advantaged, so they're going to take less damage from the boss as a result of that, or hopefully in the end they do. But that's why I like him here. I'm using his leadership skill. Arguably, I guess I could use Rhoda's leadership skill, which reduces the cooldowns of nature units by 15%, although that only affects 2 units. So does this leadership skill. I just think the 33% HP for water units is a little bit more impactful to my success rate. But either way, I'm loving this team as a whole. I have been giving them my best gear, and I've gotten a few good pieces of gear in the recent few days farming. I do farm a good bit, not nearly as much as I should, and not nearly as much as I do in other games. But after these patches, since I logged on, in the last day or so, and have noticed this patch, I have been spending a lot more time. So you see right there, there goes Mojo. So there's my buffer, instantly dead. He was hit by an attack, and I don't know what to do for him. Besides give him more HP, probably. he's sitting around 28,000 HP, I believe, and there goes Xenia. So the problem is I didn't have my defense buff. Look at that. Annihilates my entire team. This is not what happened before. My previous run, relative to this, was a lot more successful. You can see that the main damage source we have here is the dots. Wow. I didn't expect it to be this unsuccessful. Like I said, I'm not ready for this at all. But I got up to it, and before I got the Elder Drake to about, I don't even know, about 3/5 of his health. But anyways, to show you guys where I farm at B7. That's why I was so excited to be moving more in the direction of the B10 floor, because I do want to get better gear and I do want to build more units and I want to do so much more in this game. I'm getting all excited about it. Now moving forward, also another unit, I was talking about units before I got off track and headed into here. Another unit I was thinking about building and planning on building in the future is the Nature Candy Munchkin. The big problem I see with my team, or not problem, but some part of my team that can be improved sometime with better gear, of course, is the clearing the monsters or the champions, the little mobs that are before the boss. All these guys right here at the beginning, the trash waves, before we get to the Elder Drake. I think the Candy Munchkin can do a great job of that, just because she is a damage dealer, and I don't have a raw damage dealer on my team. I have damage in the form of ongoing damage effects from the Water Scanned Warlord, and a little bit of damage because his damage is based on his max HP, and of course he is built very tanky. But I don't have any raw attack damage based damage dealers, so nobody's really benefiting, really benefiting from Mojo's attack buff that comes in with that defense buff. So in the future, I'd like to use the Candy Munchkin because I feel like her kit can work pretty well. Not to mention her damage based on the enemy's max HP that comes in on the Elder Drake wave, or when we get to the Elder Drake section of the fight. I think that her damage output on the boss would be pretty nice. This is yet to be seen. I do have her built with really mediocre leftover gear that I had, but I do want to do some testing. I want to get her at least 5-star, and I want to play with her in the future, seeing how she works out. Because this stage of the Elder Drake fight can be sped up as well. I would like to get my runs down to 2 minutes. That may be a little bit too ambitious, but you can see here, my gear has improved enough to where I rarely fail at the B7 level. So speeding up B7 would be my next logical step in progression. Not forcing my way into B10, speeding up my time in B7 so that I can really focus on getting the better gear. Because I do get legendary 5-star gear occasionally from here, and there are a few pieces of the legendary 5-star gear which is relevant enough for me to use for a while. So I'm fairly excited about that. And so I feel like if I spend enough time here farming for decent enough 5-star gear, I can get my way into Elder Drake B10. Also, I occasionally get pieces of 6-star, although I don't hold my breath for it because it is, the occasions are few and far between when I do get the drops, and typically they're not the most ideal pieces. But if I do happen to get some, that'll just be a bonus. So for the next while, and it'll probably be a week or two before another video, unless I either build another unit in the meantime or make some sort of breakthrough which I feel is relevant enough to talk about in a video. I'm probably going to spend my time farming here. This is really nice. Max HP. It's got attack speed and crit rate. This could definitely go on the Candy Munchkin because I am. I guess I'll talk about her for like 5 minutes. I've been getting so much more into this game, which is great because I was super into it at the start. I slowly was falling out of being into it for a little while because, of course, being a game that I'm new to, it's a little bit more difficult to progress. But now I'm getting really back into it. And Peppermint is who I'm talking about, with a what is this? A Brutal Keen set or a Brutal Vital set? I'd probably end up with a Brutal Vital set is what would be ideal. You can see I am using 3 Keen runes. That is not on purpose. I was just kind of playing around with her or her gear. So this is a piece of five star gear I got from Elder Drake B7 that I think is very nice. The only problem is it did roll into flat defense one time. Let's just power this up. Let's upgrade this here. What I was hoping for was more crit rate. It rolled once into defense percentage, once into attack percentage, and then once into flat attack. I was a little bit disappointed about the flat defense. The real reason I was using this or upgrading this piece of gear is because I was hoping for 1 or 2 rolls into crit rate to really help this unit out, because from what I draw, right, and these are just the conclusions I'm drawing from what I see and what I am assuming, so it could be completely incorrect. When it comes to damage dealers, you want them hitting as much as possible, and it gets a little bit more defense, which isn't bad, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But you want high attack speed so that your unit can constantly be attacking, because even if the number of damage or the amount of damage they're not doing isn't huge, it's consistent. It's consistent damage output, which is also why I have this crit rate on the glove slot, just because I want to make use of that crit damage here, the 50% built in, and then I get a little bit from my gear as well. But it's really nice, or what's really nice is you can see I have 77% crit rate because I have this crit rate slot here, and I do want to bring this to +12, but I don't think we're going to be able to do it now, because the upgrade rates are usually not great for me. But we're going to get more by upgrading it the 2 more times, because I am bringing all the slots, all the percentage slots up to +12. But hopefully this way we can maximize on that crit damage that is built into the unit, as well as increase our consistent damage, because increasing the crit rate increases the likelihood of us hitting a crit, and therefore we are going to be constantly doing more damage to the enemy. And you can see it's already up to 77, no, 77% crit rate. Yeah, okay, 77% crit rate. So it's going to be a pretty consistent crit that we're going to be hitting, or a lot more consistent than if we didn't have that crit rate in this slot. So I am putting her on an attack speed, crit rate, and then HP, because I do want her to survive, and because her damage is based on the enemy's max HP, or can do bonus damage based on the enemy's max HP on 2 skills, I believe. Yes, on 2 skills, it means that we can get away without putting attack on her, because she's still going to be doing damage from the attack built into her kit. She's still going to be doing damage based on having an attack buff and the enemy having lower defense on them, a lower defense buff, or the debuff of lowering defense. And we're still going to have a good amount of damage, because damage based on max HP means regardless of our attack, the boss's max HP, the higher it is, the more damage we're going to be doing. So the crit rate's really going to help with that as well. So I am going to build her on a build like that. I do want to get her HP a lot higher, around, I don't know, 25,000. Right now it's sitting around 16, almost 17,000. So we are going to be working on that in the future. And like I said, I do want to get her up to 5-star and skill her up to play around with her more. But that's about it right now for my progression. There's not too much else to talk about. I summon stuff when I get it, so I'm not going to be doing any summoning sessions or anything kind of gimmicky like that. However, if I do pull anything in the near future, which I think is really exciting to talk about, or is really going to impact my gameplay, I'll make sure to make a short video about that. If you guys enjoyed, though, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more updates on my content. But that's about it. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hey guys, it's West again. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe for more.